coming at you from DC. I'll be stepping it up for us today. And I'll be in conversation with KG.
Hey y'all, I'm KG based in Charlotte, and today is our first installment. I don't know if we can call it that, of From Page to Plate.
Mhm.
Um, a little bit about it. I think we kind of sankofaed ourselves because we had a little series back then that was about tasting the text.
Mhm.
We just go to each other's house and film
Yeah.
when Vanessa lived down here in Charlotte. But now we want to bring that back to bring up literature, text, and various forms of formats that we are just interested in right now.
Yeah.
And then get inspired in the kitchen or actually try our hand at making something from one or more of those texts. So,
Yes.
Vanessa has picked out our text and
Yes.
our thing we're going to put on our plate today.
Mhm. Yeah, good stuff. So today's recipe, well, actually, our conversation is inspired by this podcast that we both have listened to a little bit of, at least the first episode of, and that kind of like whet our palates to do like a conversation about almost larger conversation around a lot of different things that kind of conjured up. Um, for us that we wanted to, bring to y'all. But because the podcast, again, will give you a bit more grounding, it's all about Famous Amos and chocolate chip cookies and like that, his legacy there. I wanted to bring, a different version of a chocolate chip cookie,
Hmm.
but one nonetheless. This one is pulled from A Good Day to Bake by Benjamina Ebu Abu. Oh gosh, I practiced it so many times, and now I'm forgetting how to pronounce it. It's spelled Ebuehi, and I believe it was pronounced Ebwei. Got a little nervous. Ebwei is how you
Okay.
pronounce it. But A Good Day to Bake. This was a contestant on one previous season of the Great British Bake Off.
Hmm.
Certainly
Hmm.
loved her
Yes.
energy, really good flavors,
Hmm.
and pulled
Wonderful
from this.
Instagram.
Right? Yes. Yeah. I haven't forgot. I haven't looked at it in a while, but
Hmm.
pulled the miso and white chocolate cookies recipe. So like
Hmm.
the white chocolate is like the chocolate chip cookie that we're like reaching for here. So obviously different something, but uh, black chef and doing a chocolate chip cookie recipe nonetheless. So yeah, excited to dive in.
Awesome. Yeah. Um, well, I mean, we can go in either direction. Well, maybe let's start with the page, right?
Yeah,
With Famous Amos. And you can definitely interrupt me for any cooking that you need to do or
excellent.
baking
Yeah,
in the background. So feel free to get started.
cool.
But Vanessa found this wonderful I guess a podcast installment
Hmm.
where the daughter of Famous Amos or Willie Amos was just talking a bit about their relationship, what it's like to be the daughter of someone famous, someone who has such a huge personality,
Hmm.
but then also it seemed like she was answering a lot of questions just about him, his legacy, not only like as dad, but also the legacy to people. Like, what do people remember about Famous Amos and sorry, not Willie, Wally, Amos.
Yeah.
So I guess the formal name of the podcast is called Tough Cookie.
Hmm.
This is the first season, episode one.
Hmm.
Um, following this gentleman. So I
Hmm.
guess what were your reactions to it at first?
Yeah, one thing, and this is like one of those things that I think I have forgotten about since listening to the episode, but I
Mm-hmm.
saw like an episode description of like the second episode of the season, but it's like from Tallahassee, Florida, and it said, "Let's go North Florida." I love all the places I've called home, but
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, which is 2 hours from Tallahassee, but
Mm-hmm.
us North Floridian blacks stick together pretty heavy. So it was an interesting connection I made there that you can't really recreate or. Um, I know he like really gravitated towards Hawaii, but spent
Mm-hmm.
60 plus years there, I believe.
Mhm.
But it was a cool little tidbit to have seen him, at least hailing from a similar upbringing, maybe not
Yeah.
upbringing, but similar geographic location to me.
I definitely got called out immediately
Yeah,
when listening because, and I'm going to show myself a little bit.
yeah,
I thought he was always a character or a caricature. I didn't know he was a real man.
yes.
Um,
You know.
I put him, for better or worse, probably worse, in like the same category of like Aunt Jemima. Like I saw this black figure
Hmm.
on food packaging,
Yeah.
and I didn't think he was a real person. And we know that, like, the Aunt Jemima is based off of a real person, or it can be
Hmm.
a persona of real people, of a group of
Hmm.
people,
Yeah.
um,
Often a compilation.
sharing this. Yeah, yeah, and there are definitely books that cover that. We can
Yeah.
definitely link to some and mention some a little bit later, but
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know he was a real person.
Yeah.
So my mind was blown, and so I was like, oh,
Yeah.
um, and it was also really refreshing, even though he was a wild boy, and
Hmm.
to talk about some of that,
Yeah.
um, refreshing to hear clips of his voice
Yeah.
and the way he was talking about himself, his product, and then also,
Yeah.
his engagement with youth and literacy and all that kind of stuff, and just to
Yes.
hear the person behind what I
Yeah.
thought was just a
Yeah.
caricature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like there were a couple different like revealing. I mean, and I guess I found myself reflecting on like the long legacy,
Hmm.
because like I didn't recall the like advertisements and things, or like the different like at
Hmm.
all, right? And
Well,
so
it
like
predated us, though.
you're right,
Yeah.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. But like when you were talking about that a second ago, I was just like, and it reminded me of a moment when I was listening, like, oh, like I'm not of that age group that would have seen, and I was like, I think I was in college when I was like, I saw like somebody say like, did you know that Famous Amos is a black man? And I'm like, get out, what? I had
Hmm.
no idea.
Hmm.
And I mean, most of the Amoses I've ever encountered are black. But I,
Right.
right,
Wally.
right,
Um,
right, right, exactly. Wally Amos, like, like it makes a lot of sense. But yeah.
I will say, added to that, because maybe I never thought if he was a real person or not,
Mhm.
because um we just have so many examples,
Mhm.
just even outside of food industry, food business, of
Mhm.
black people being like the face of something,
Yeah.
but not owning it,
Yes.
not prospering from whatever it is.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
makes me think, another blew my mind. You've seen the tenderism,
Yes.
the
Yes.
tenderism
That thing.
guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't even work at that restaurant. He
Oh.
doesn't even
Yeah.
own that restaurant.
Yeah.
But they put him in front of a camera. It
Uh
took
huh.
off. People associate that space and the food there with him. It's
Yeah.
bringing profit to that
Yeah.
place, but it's also a performance.
It is.
You
It
know,
is.
it's
Yeah.
a performance. So, um, I'm not shocked at myself for having thought he was just a character, but
It's,
it is nice to dig into that history and to
yeah.
look at his contributions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Echo you all that. Yeah, that's amazing. I'm gonna quickly just share with the viewer what I've already prepped,
Mhm.
because with any good cookie dough recipe, like I've learned that there needs to be some time for like the dough to chill.
Mhm.
It's usually recommended about 2 hours, 2+ hours, and so as to help expedite some of that, like
Mhm.
showing you like the process, I really just kind of pre-made different elements, but you'll still see some of the coming together of the ingredients, and me scooping onto like the cookie sheet, all that. So like, you're not missing out on too much. But what I did before recording was add a lot of the like the wet ingredients, or they're effectively wet ingredients. Again, this is a miso and white chocolate cookie. So it's very butterscotchy, like savory, sweet, like really good, mild, especially like good for the us folks who are getting up there and who want something a little bit milder as far as sweetness goes.
Mhm.
The base is white miso, a couple tablespoons of that. We have white sugar. We have light brown sugar.
There's a lot of white right now.
I know. I know.
I'm
I'm just
just
like,
saying,
uh-huh,
triggered
uh-huh.
underneath, but
I
it's okay.
know.
It's
I was
okay.
like, mad light skin. Oh my god. Um, so we have a lot of white sugars and light sugars, vanilla bean paste, and an egg is like what you and softened butter. Mix those together, and I've got the dry ingredients right here:
Mhm.
flour, all-purpose flour, salt, baking powder, and baking soda. So we can continue conversing. I'll just be adding and then doing like a low mix in the background. Um,
Yeah.
and you'll see it all kind of coming together. But you really like the dough comes together very quickly. It's really the chill time that's gonna
Mhm.
take a lot of your a lot of your time. So
Yep.
plan accordingly. I know
Right.
from experience.
Why? It's another revelation of
Yeah,
sorts. And Sarah, that's the daughter's name, speaks
yeah,
to just kind of how this process has been
yeah,
revealing,
yeah,
talking about her dad, talking about Amos as the businessman.
yeah,
But one thing I realized is that I come from a family of bakers.
yeah.
Um, but I do not understand the science of baking. And
Hmm.
it's something
Hmm.
that I'm not gonna say it's a priority or anything,
Yeah,
but just I haven't maybe given myself the freedom to experiment with baking in the way
yeah.
that I have with other things.
That's real.
Um, but with that being said, um, I guess what about Wally or Mr. Amos's life seemed
Mhm,
experimental or experiential? That's the
mhm.
word we use. Um, that you didn't know before, or that just kind of drew you in even more if you did have kind of an inkling.
I say I, kind of identified a little bit with him in the sense that, like, and that I'm remembering the part of the podcast when they were talking about him as like a business person or businessman,
Hmm.
and how we kind of just like uh, maybe didn't anticipate like the levels to which like his eventual uh, business like would become like. I mean, I would call it iconic, right? Like
Yeah,
it's one of
yeah,
those, you see it. It's vending machines. It's like everyone knows everyone. I would say have a good, the concept of like we know what this is, and even if we never eaten one or whatever, like it's a pretty iconic, like a U.S. brand, American brand, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, and seeing how this business practices like ultimately like landed him in while he's you know headed up this iconic brand, for
Yeah.
decades. I did not think that he would have been somebody that was like one of those basically died in, I won't say squalor, but like certainly
Mm,
like having not like retained the amount of wealth
mm-hmm,
that you imagine he would have.
mm-hmm,
And in that sense, like you can have a really great idea, you can have a lot of luck, you can
mm-hmm,
have a lot of people investing,
mm-hmm.
and things could still maybe go south for you.
Yeah.
Or I mean, again, and this is like what reflections of one of his children, like his daughter Sarah, who is like putting forward the podcast, like the main narrator, I would say, of
Mm,
it. Is that like his personality was like obviously like very magnetic, and
right,
he's got
right.
charisma, and that can really get you places, but like
Mm-hmm,
also like being so stubborn as he was
mm-hmm.
also like I wonder how much like that fed into um the predicament he found himself in, that's
Mm-hmm.
with his finances, and being able to continue really profiting
Yeah.
from this.
I I felt similarly in that I think a lot about we have so many great chefs just around us in our families and our friend
Hmm.
groups who can make a mean cookie,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But do they also have the business acumen if they want to, right? We don't have to
Right.
turn all of our hobbies
Of
into
course.
side hustles and profit off of them.
Mm-hmm.
You can define profit the way you want to,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yes.
if they wanted to take that step to take a leap, Um, do they have that business acumen to carry him through? And she talks about how she learned about some of the not so great business deals, his challenge with discernment and who to work with in industry, and just constantly
Yeah.
wanting to uh get more money, which is
Yeah.
not bad. Like, make
Right.
it's capitalist society. We get it. People have different motivations for their money and different intentions for it, but like,
Right.
um, he hungered after it.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of get he as a person or character starts to give me pause because um Sarah points out just how disconnected she and many of her siblings
Yes.
felt.
Yes.
Um, and that the investment in them wasn't there.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So much so that like and maybe I missed it. I don't know if any of them
Mhm.
attempted to carry on the
Yeah.
business or be
Yeah.
like, part of the next kind of iteration of that iconic chocolate chip cookie, right?
Right.
Um, but that lack of investment in children and family, um, definitely struck me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because we know, families are the people around us are the ones who are going to be the keepers of the recipes.
Right. Right.
Um, they're the ones that are constantly tasting our stuff. They're the ones who are going to pass it down and make it for next people. So,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
um, I would say I was disappointed because I
Yeah.
don't know this man from nothing
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
but rather for people who
Yeah.
are, I think about people I know now who are big in food, whether they're like killing it with the consumer packaged goods or
Yes.
they're out creating restaurants, creating
Yeah.
unique recipes. What does their legacy building look like outside of just their name and
Yeah.
the product they put out? Like,
Yeah.
how are they preparing to pass these things down the way
Yeah.
all of us normal folks do in passing down our recipes to other people?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. You have me thinking about, I know like in one direction we like, want this conversation to kind of go, and you're already kind of touching on it right now, like with his legacy and who he was personally, right?
Hmm.
I know we constantly, like over the, almost decades long friendship at this point, that like we think a lot about like artists and
Hmm.
the fact that you can't, and I think about artists like, and we think about artists like very broadly, right?
Hmm.
And whether you can
Hmm.
separate them from the art that they make, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like where's like our line with supporting, platforming, consuming, whatever in any way supporting them, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and like I guess like when I found myself like again like as you were like we're relaying a lot of the like his character traits and the fact that he was effectively like an abs one of his children said like I hated this man for like a long time or there would be the way that he lifted up his and I'm losing track on like how many kids he had with his white wife right but he seemed to like really value and again have been a decent father for at least through her, Sarah's middle school years, right? That's what I'm
Hmm.
remembering. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's and this is not exhaustive. Like we haven't gotten like all the way through his life story and whatnot. But so far, what I'm gleaning is that like he was difficult and he was not a very good father. But like
Hmm.
he's not like you know victimized anyone, right? Or he's not done something that like it seems to be like a in some way abusive, harmful.
Mm.
I mean, neglect is a form of abuse,
It's
right?
not. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yes. But like, I just find myself like wrestling with like, where's my line? And like, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to like,
Hmm.
to grapple with him and his legacy, especially like hearing it directly from the source, like his children, right? And like the
Hmm.
various experiences they had with him, right? Sarah
Hmm.
is just like, yeah, it was. he seemed to have really cared, and he like tried to be a decent father to me for a while. And then when he like hit hard times financially, and maybe it was more difficult to support me in this way, but maybe he was still trying to you know show
Mm-hmm.
up in the way that he in
Mm-hmm.
the way that he could, right? But like all these older siblings who were like, this is not my experience. Like
Mm-hmm.
he said he loved me, but like I don't even know what that means,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I see
Right.
you on Christmas, maybe, right? And I don't know, like I guess like I guess I struggle with what to do with what was uncovered or was made clear to me
Mm-hmm.
listening to this podcast episode, right? Because like there are definitely like people who are like I've got a hard line, like I know exactly like yep, will not support this, but uh it matters. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
and I guess I don't want to pass moral judgment, and I certainly have I'm flawed in so many ways, but like it definitely was something that like I didn't anticipate hearing, and
Mm-hmm.
it made me think about his legacy in a different light. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like people don't know who you are, which he also has the right to be
yeah,
anonymous in certain ways. But
correct,
then to know that the people you created don't even know who you are,
right.
um, definitely hits different. I do wonder how much of his charisma and the
Hmm.
fact that he moved around so much was behind
Hmm.
like informed the brand or
Yeah,
created it.
yeah,
But it's very clear that the story here
hmm,
is of a man of many layers,
yes,
and it definitely was way less about
hmm,
his process as a baker, cookie maker, business
yes,
person,
yeah,
food.
yeah,
Um, and I do wonder if she gets to something where we hear more about the story of the cookie,
hmm,
of the product.
hmm,
Um, does that, change her mind about her dad at all?
right,
Does that help us understand the brand even more?
yeah,
Um, so I guess I would want to hear more about that. But I know we do have this recipe here. What story does this
yeah.
baker give in this text?
Yeah, actually, I've got to open it back up,
Hmm.
and see.
I mean, take your time.
Yeah. But before I do that, actually, I'm just gonna tell our viewer what I'm doing now.
Hmm.
So while we were chatting a second ago, I added the dry ingredients and just like mix it on low speed, just until it's combined. You don't want to over mix the dough. Um, After I added the dry ingredients, I then put in the white chocolate, and now I'm just forming the cookie the cookie balls, I guess. So this is pretty much the like last step you do. The recipe makes between 10 and 16 cookies, depending on how big you make them.
Hmm.
So you go ahead and like grab and go as you see fit,
Hmm.
uh, and um, and then you're going to want to go ahead and like smash it a little bit so like it starts to form a cookie. But
Hmm.
these will spread as you bake them at 350 in the oven. But you just grab and go, smash it a little bit so that they're flat on both sides, and then cover it with cling wrap, saran wrap, what have you, and then refrigerate it for at least 2 hours. But it can also stay in overnight. Um, yeah, excellent.
Time spent.
Hmm.
No, I think it's a really beautiful thing. Because what I'm hearing is the food science of it all. Like,
Hmm.
hey, you got to get these ingredients together, but also just the patience we need to have with
Yes.
ourselves and with what we're making.
Hmm. Hmm.
In a lot of ways, maybe Sarah's trying to have patience with her dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or actually, no, I don't think she has much patience. She was like very much like,
Yeah.
I'm not dealing. Her
Yeah.
friends were the ones who were like, you
Do
can't
you
handle
know?
really
Right.
engaging with the way you feel about your father.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
it just hearing you go through that makes me think about the patience we
Yeah.
have to have with cooking and that
Yeah.
there's a real freedom in that.
Yes.
To be
Yes.
able to have that kind of patience in the kitchen,
Yeah.
time spent,
Yes.
really.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will also wanted to highlight like so I mean I can show you the cookies that like I ultimately like made happen. This was probably
Mhm.
like the second like mini batch. I just pulled it apart. Um,
Okay.
pretty good. All came together like tasted great. You know, didn't come out as pretty as
Mhm.
Benjamina's, but I will say like it is I would argue it's a pretty simple recipe. You know, come together pretty nicely. Um, but like I don't know, I made mistakes so like every step of the way. Like I add my
Like,
egg. Yeah, I didn't add my egg. Like part of like the would have been like one of the wet ingredients. Like this is like the first paragraph of directions. I didn't
mhm.
add it until after I'd added all my dry ingredients and had started stirring them. And I'm like,
Mm,
this looks
yeah.
like sands, and something is not right here.
Mhm.
And that's all to say. I mean, I'm very confident. Cookies are like one of the things I like make most confidently. There are a couple
Mhm.
go-to recipes that I like kind of bust out. It was the first time I made this particular recipe, but like once you've made one chocolate chip cookie recipe, you kind of made them all. Don't quote me on that. Sorry, chef.
Somebody might fight you
I
for
know,
saying that.
right? Take away the comments from this video, please. I but you know, that's just one of those and you won't believe it, like the confidence that I had. I was just like I went through all the ingredients and I was just like
Mhm.
when was I supposed to add the egg? Like Benjamina, you made a mistake in your cookbook. Like I was like it like mentally like she was wrong, right? And I'm like, wait, no. The publishers didn't catch this, the editors didn't catch this, she didn't catch this. I don't know.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then I looked back and I saw like you were supposed to add the egg after all the other like I'm calling them like wet ingredients. Um,
Look, we grew up on 30-minute meals with Rachel Ray. I mean,
yes,
there's still a process, but we are
yes,
the one pot, one pan,
right, right,
one
uh-huh,
balanced sound generation.
uh-huh,
So
right,
I can understand a tendency to be like, I'm gonna add it whenever, so we can
yes,
all cook together
yeah,
and just let it
yeah,
go. But it's not
yeah.
how
Imperfect
it
but still
goes. Yeah.
delicious and still
Right.
the spot. And I think I got it even better the second go around. So
Hmm.
here we go. Regarding the storytelling that she does with this, it's a
Hmm.
rather brief paragraph. It just talks about like her
Hmm.
appreciation for cookies and like the nostalgia of them. Um, she also uses the word umami in it like to describe the flavor, which is like one of the
Hmm.
things that like I've been exploring more lately.
Hmm.
Because
Do you
like
feel like it does capture that umami flavor?
I would, and I had a hard time really understanding what umami was. Like when you know chefs are talking about like the different flavor profiles, right? We got spicy, we have the salty, sweet, savory, like, and then it's like umami, and I'm like, dog, I I don't understand fully,
Hmm. Hmm.
but I think like with the miso, like that being like one
Hmm.
of the predominant or like base flavors of it, it gave me more understanding of like what that actually means,
Okay.
or being able to kind of demonstrate it like on the palette versus
Hmm.
like this, very sciencey or structured way of finding it.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, I think I have more clarity on
Right.
sales.
I mean, you gotta taste it to
Yeah,
understand it for yourself.
yeah,
Um, and in this particular book, are most of her descriptions like pretty short, pretty brief to a paragraph?
yeah. They are. They
Yeah.
are. Yeah, yeah. I've made a couple other ones. I'm trying to remember which ones that I baked from, but um, she's British, and so I'm learning to like reach more for it. She does a really wonderful job of doing like both the metric or both you know systems
Hmm.
of measuring to make it easy for anybody that is cooking from this book. But she also like I was trying to remember like where this recipe was, and I was looking under cookies at first.
Hmm.
Then it's like it says like cookies, and then it says see biscuits, and I'm like, you're
Stop. Get out of here.
stop it,
I dislike that
no.
so much. But it's the language, like language and food, even just the word umami, right?
Yeah,
And how that lands because it's not an English word, and so there are going to
right,
be
right.
interpretations of the word that we maybe cannot fathom because we don't have the language to
Right.
describe it, right? But why is this a biscuit?
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
I was going to participate in like a Threads debate about biscuits, like
Yeah.
the UK sense of it, and then like Southern and other places. Cause like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I'm just glad it's not a digestive. Those are
Yeah.
I don't understand those.
Terrible.
No shade or any shame or anything
Hmm.
like that
Yeah.
to the people who like digestives
Right.
and British biscuits.
Right.
They're just not in my house.
No.
Um,
No.
but it is nice to know that or that people are making an attempt
Mm-hmm.
to create a common understanding through food and through the process of making food.
Yeah.
Um, I know for me, miso has been something that I particularly take in soups,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
not in any other dish, but that's also because I didn't grow up with miso in my household, so it's very new to
Mm-hmm.
me,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I did grow up with biscuits and biscuits,
Yes.
so I think there are probably certain flavors I'd be open to trying.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings me back to Wally Amos. I wonder
Mm-hmm.
what else he would have experimented with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that she does take some time to talk about the limitations of the business side, how people didn't want to give loans to a black
Yeah.
man at that time.
Uh-huh.
People didn't want to kind of open up their wallets or their minds to what he could bring to the table.
Right.
And I'm sure, just off of assumption, but probably it's, factual, limited his ability to kind of dream with the
Right.
business in some ways. So
Right.
I only remember having his chocolate chip cookie. I would have to go back to see
Yeah.
what other types of, food products he made. But what if that wasn't the end? What if the
Right.
cookie wasn't the end, right?
Yeah.
And so much of the struggle kept him from maybe kind of freedom dreaming with food.
Right.
Um, Again, I'm making assumptions. She
Yeah.
just let us know only that he faced resistance.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
we know that kind of resistance does stifle creativity for
Yeah.
people like us in the food space.
Yeah. No doubt.
You know.
No doubt. Yeah,
Mhm.
actually, I'm curious too, because again, like when a lot of it's like really, I'll say positive attributes or like really wonderful qualities that like drew him in and like probably made him like in many respects so successful.
Mhm.
Could have sold anything, right? Like, and he
Mhm.
has this cookie recipe that he's able to like mass produce um, and making such an iconic like brand.
Mhm.
I am curious, right? Like, what else could have unfolded had like the slew of factors,
Mhm.
um, made a maybe had he faced fewer obstacles, right?
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Well, okay. So then let me ask:
Yeah.
one, do you have a favorite cookie?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then if you don't, or even if you do,
Mm-hmm.
what would be the flavors you would put in your ideal cookie, or just
Ooh.
a cookie combo you would try, flavor combination you would try?
I will say I'm pretty adamant about like liking a chewy cookie. I
Mm.
mean, like it can almost be raw in the middle. Like I'm like perfect. Like it's probably
So
not good
you
for
were the cookie dough
yes.
spoon,
I,
take it to the head
I
person.
did eat quite a bit last night, I'll be honest. And so far, no
Well, you
salmon.
said last night.
Yep. Hmm.
Okay. So you would
With
have
my
loved
previous stuff.
visiting him in Hawaii and
Exactly.
the
Right.
tubs of cookie. Yeah.
um, but I'm pretty adamant about the texture. Like I'm texture forward first.
Mhm.
Like I guess there are some crunchy cookies that like I'll eat. And I guess I like an Oreo. I like a Famous Amos cookie, right? Like that's fine. But if we're talking like fresh bake something,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
love
Mhm.
a soft baked something. There's something that is baked and like rather soft. Not like those. You remember those like sugar cookies that like were very very sweet with that like layer of like icing and like sprinkles. I have a hard time describing it. Um,
You can find them in the food lines a lot.
yeah,
I
uh-huh.
know exactly.
It's
Yeah,
like
that
very
one.
soft baked.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I never liked those very much. I mean, I ate them, but because they were so popular, like with friends and classmates and things.
yeah.
But that's not the topic talking about. I really, like, I mean, the demonstration I had earlier, right? Like, it is, it's pretty thick cookie,
Mm-hmm.
and fully cooked, but still soft. That's how I prefer it. And I'm trying to remember the last time I was like really blown away by a good cookie. One of my favorites is an oatmeal chocolate chip. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a raisin girl. Don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think having that combination but I do like really love oatmeal.
Yeah.
Having that combination of chocolate and oatmeal, it's a classic for me. If I'm talking like maybe if I were to create and I actually one of the things I want to do chilling this year, but like moving forward and like in my cooking practice is to like create recipes,
Mm-hmm.
find ways to fine tune and maybe dream into things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really like pistachios. I really like
Okay.
what else? So I probably would incorporate those somewhere in there. It would
Mm.
probably be, your standard base. I almost picked this recipe from Jubilee, Tony Tipton Martin's Jubilee. That like she just gives like a general, I forget what exactly how she titled it, like the recipe, but it's like the any cookie you want it to be sort of like recipe.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gives like a lot of different like add-ins, like on the opposing page.
Yeah.
This dough as a base. It's basically like I guess it's like a sugar cookie base, but it's got I think it's like dark brown sugar, dang it.
Mm.
And a lot of other ingredients. Um, but I probably do it's a pretty standard base like that, and throw in some of my favorite ingredients. We again like pistachio is a big one for me. I like a little sea salt to really
Mm-hmm.
bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I I'm also like you in that I think about texture first and then go
Hmm.
to flavor next. Maybe I'm just hating. First, I thought Mr. Amos wasn't real. Now I'll say like I didn't grab his cookies as a kid. Like I ate them
Yeah,
because you eat what's available to you, right?
right,
It every summer camp, school cafeteria,
right.
family reunion. You can get the bulk from like Sam's and Costco, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah,
wherever you go, right? So like I had them, but like I don't prefer a cookie of that texture.
yeah.
I'm definitely a kind of crispy edge, soft center person,
Okay, okay.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And gosh, I don't know. I feel like there are different cookies I like for the occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Ooh.
I mean, tis the
Yeah,
season for, is this
yeah.
the Girl Scout season? Are we in Girl
And
Scout season?
I think we're entering it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so the gosh, what are they, Samoas?
yeah.
Samoas
The
with
coconut.
the like chocolate and coconut.
Yeah,
And like so I like the hard. I like that it still is able to kind of melt in your mouth. You have the caramel, you have that
yeah,
kind of stuff. And it gives me something to work with.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I like kind of the crispy edge soft center. I have something to work with my
yeah,
mouth. I don't know what that means
yeah,
psychologically, but it works.
yeah.
Um, I want to say maybe I tend to stray away from chocolate chip because I think it can be boring. But
Mm-hmm.
I had a chocolate chip cookie from where I forget,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a chocolate chip with sea salt. And it
Yeah.
was just something about the sea salt and also
Mm-hmm.
the texture of the cookie that brought everything out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also tend to like spiced cookies.
Ooh.
So give me your nutmeg, give me your cinnamon, give me
Yeah.
your cardamom, give me your those things.
Yeah.
Um, and if I have to have chocolate, I want it to be dark.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
which is another reason I don't typically
Yeah.
didn't really like the Famous Amos cookies because I don't tend to like milk chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it tends to be like widely available,
Mm-hmm.
kind of easy. Like you said, easy to
Mm-hmm.
source.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so many people have had an introduction to milk chocolate that they haven't had to dark chocolate or like just cacao, period. So,
Right.
but I tend to like things with a dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Um, not really trying to think like where would I go to get
Yeah.
a good cookie? That's also black owned.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
You don't
this
like
is
crumble.
huh?
Sorry, I remember like there was like a trend. I think it was last year, maybe the year
Oh,
before
a
about like,
crumble cookie
yeah,
or some bleh,
people being like,
right?
people were like, no.
Yeah, no, no, no. Um, I know of bakers, like there's Alexandra's Bakery in
Mm-hmm.
East Charlotte.
Mm,
Um, there are some people who make some really good, like thick cookies, Sweet Temptation, Silky
yeah.
Cookies in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like as far as like texture and
Mm-hmm.
what I would look for in a cookie, they have it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't frequent a lot of sweets places unless I'm getting cake
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Fair,
ice cream.
fair, fair,
Yeah,
fair,
so
fair.
hmm, I can't fully answer this question.
Yeah.
Um, okay.
Yeah. I don't think I had a response to that either. So
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. So let's see. Uh, how are we with your baking?
Ooh, yeah. So I got to a good stopping point. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure how good the angle is going to come in here, but you'll
Okay.
see got parchment paper at
Mm-hmm.
the base of my baking sheet. And I just like, did six or like so half a dozen
Mm-hmm.
on this. Um, I believe they would be a little bit bigger than this. There's still quite a
Okay.
bit of dough left for it to even be between the 10 to 16 that Benjamina kind of outlines with the
Mm-hmm.
recipe. But again, much like anything, we had that question about preferences because, like, she gives you a really good recipe that can, satisfy all of the different tastes. So if you like a bigger cookie with softer texture, you can do a bigger
Mm-hmm.
dough mound and, smash it, or there's a lot of flexibility there. But just did this would, probably be enough room on this baking sheet for all these to like properly spread. And,
Mm-hmm.
we'll take them off. But these are ready to go in the fridge for 2 hours, 2+ hours, or
Mm-hmm.
overnight. Um, and there's still plenty more of dough that I'm going to do another batch of them and just kind of cover them in the same way.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So I know, well, you have definitely cookies for tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Uh-huh.
whenever you choose to eat them, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, like
Yeah.
have at it. I guess a shameless plug as we wrap up. Not really a shameless plug.
Hmm.
All of the texts or books that we talked about today, excuse me.
Hmm.
So from the podcast to
Yes.
Tony to the Martin's book to
Yes.
Benjamina's book, um, we'll link out. Also, I know really briefly you mentioned, Vanessa, that you want to get into recipe writing. We
Yeah.
do have recipe books, and it is amazing how many folks we may meet at pop-ups who are like, I don't write down my recipes. I just kind of know it, or maybe I have a clipping from
Hmm.
your grandma or your papa or your auntie or something like that. Um,
Hmm.
write it down,
Hmm.
transfer it, keep the clippings because it's
Hmm.
cool. It's part of the archive.
We're not
But then
losing
also, huh?
2026. We're not losing recipes in 2020.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're not losing them. We are documenting things just to make
Archives.
sure
Use
archive them.
them.
Um, and then on top of that, we do have notebooks because sometimes you just need like a creative space to play with recipes.
Hmm.
Like maybe you copy down Benjamina's recipe and then
Yeah.
you kind of experiment. Like maybe I don't want it as thick.
Hmm.
How do I create a flatter cookie? Or
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe here's a flavor profile. How do I
Yeah.
tweak it? Add some
Yeah.
other things. Substitute. If you can't get access to miso, like what do you do?
Right. Right.
Um, and then also kind of last plug, we'll continue to do this.
Yeah.
So if there are books or recipes you would like to see us talk our way through or make, definitely let us know.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
I'm up for a challenge.
Oh, yeah, right.
Even though I flubbed. No, I had a lot of happy accidents. Is that what Julia Child said? I forgot who it was, I'll be honest. Dang. No, that was
Bob,
Bob Ross.
there
Yeah.
you go.
What, bro? Might have been passing. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No. But yeah, but I'm up for a challenge.
Yeah,
And got plenty to pull from and things that I'm eyeing. So really
right,
excited
right.
to do more page to play with y'all. It's exciting.
Awesome. Well, thank you for indulging us in our first,
Hmm.
I don't know, our revival
Hmm.
of our taste text slash
Yeah.
on page to plate. And
Yeah.
definitely enjoy your cookie.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I feel like I should mail some to you, overnight it.
I owe you. I need to send some bookmarks and other stuff.
Hmm.
Um, or it'll just force me to like actually go to the store and like have this be a little hobby or activity or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure.